Hello, you finally get my talking head now in this video. I'm actually filming this a good month after my first week just because I really haven't had time to sit down and I guess talk to the camera. It's kind of been a whirlwind that first week, which has extended into this first month. Anyways, I'm here to dish on my first week and how I felt, what it was, and don't worry, I have like my handy dandy notebook.
You know what we need? Our handy dandy notebook. Right.
And journal to kind of like recap everything that went, and so I can give you all my deepest, darkest thoughts and secrets of that first week. Yeah, I think just in general that first week was really socially exhausting, if I'm gonna be honest. I spent a lot of time meeting new people, and then you have all this small talk. What's your name? What's your major? What school are you from? And then you're constantly putting on a great smile. So you want to make these best first impressions, which is just exhausting and requires a lot of energy. But regardless, I met some really cool friends that first week, and I mean, you just gotta put yourself out there if that's what it is. It just feels like you're a freshman again, and you have to make friends, but you have to make friends in a week because everything's accelerated because you want to make friends fast so you can start doing touristy things and travel together. And anyways, all that footage you just saw before was my first day. Literally, I landed and I like hauled my ass out the door to go get my bedding so I wouldn't have to like sleep on nothing that first night. But if we move on to Monday now, Monday was orientation. We had our first actual event of the day, so I kind of got up, got ready, and then took a 30-minute walk to campus, which is the humanities campus, which was the location of our like first general orientation. On my way, had a great amazing protein bar. Go Macro bars are like my second favorite brand of protein bars. I had this blueberry flavor because I don't actually prefer chocolate flavored bars in the morning. It's just, I feel like that's just not the right way to start off your morning, if you know what I mean. I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. I'll eat a chocolate protein bar, but like maybe in the afternoon, but not as per breakfast. I showed up super early. I was, I guess, pretty extra in my time management and was one of the first people there. So what do you know? But we just kind of had that in the morning, and then we're kind of free until the evening when they held like a pub social for us. So they held a social for us at like a bar in London, which is pretty fun. Alcohol is significantly cheaper here than the States, if you were wondering. But yeah, and I came back, went to sleep, passed out from that first day. Move on to Tuesday. Woke up, again, got out the door. On my walk to campus again, I had an almond butter perfect bar. So the brand is Perfect Bar, and this is my favorite protein bar just because it, oh my god, it's just tastes like cookie dough. It has the consistency of cookie dough, and then if you were to flavor cookie dough with almond butter, that would be that would be it. There's also like peanut butter and chocolate chip peanut butter. Like, oh, so good. Anyways, I hauled my ass out to campus today to do module amendments, which are basically like changing my class schedule around because I wanted a 4-day weekend every weekend, so. Anyways, after that, I met up with some friends at Westminster Abbey. They had gone inside, but I just met them outside and kind of browsed around outside because I had to do my module amendments, and I got a cup of coffee, oat milk latte, which has become my favorite drink in London so far. FYI, coffee is significantly cheaper here than back in LA, because like in LA I feel like I'd pay like $5 for my latte, which probably doesn't even either includes or doesn't include alternative milk. But here I've had like lattes be like $2.50, $2.80, maybe £3, which is approximately a little less than $4, probably around $4 or a little less than $4, and then you add on your 50 pence or 30 pence for your alternative milk, which is oat milk. Oat milk here is such a big thing. I've only seen it back in the US at like maybe Dulce and some independent cafes and maybe Verve, but here it is like every cafe has it, which is amazing. And oat milk is just milk made from oats, so it's really like creamy and it almost tastes like whole milk substitute, I would say. So nice. Anyways, after that, meeting outside of Westminster Abbey. These were friends I met from the pub last night who, yeah, also go to USC, but we went back to more orientation events at the Waterloo campus, which is different from the humanities campus. And they're just talking about like, oh, how to get around London as a student, and talked about some study skills, which is honestly helpful, but I mean, you could also do without that, you know. It's different here. Education is different here, but it's not that different, if you know what I mean. And also, like, I think coming from a city, it's pretty, like, I've lived in a city all my life. I think I know how to get around the city. Anyways, kind of tiring after that, but just like went back home. Finally got like chance to sit down and then went to Mercato Metropolitano. I butchered that, or as the kids here call it, or I guess Londoners here call it, M&M. I met up with two friends from both from USC at that food court. It's like a food court. It's like Grand Central Market in LA, but on steroids, I swear. And I had arepas, which was this really cool, like Argentinian, I believe, like sandwich of some sort. Like the breading part has the consistency of like English muffin almost, but it's not English muffin because English muffins suck. But it's like this corny breading with beans, cheese, and plantains, and like chimichurri sauce inside. Oh, so good. And gelato, and I had this flavor called La Dolce Vita, which is basically hazelnut chocolate, which is basically Nutella. Yum. And then I went back home. That was like my first big meal of like satisfying warm meal of my time in London. Like 3 days in, that was my first like actual satisfying meal, just because it's been so hard it was so hard to find time to eat, I believe, that first week, just because like you're running off to this event or like meeting friends here. It's kind of hard. And warm food is another thing here. Like, to be satisfying, it just has to be warm because it's cold outside, and then after all of like walking in the rain or just the wind, you just want to kind of like warm up your soul with some good warm food. Anyways, Wednesday, no protein bar today because I think I walked out the door without protein bar. But you know what I did bring? Sunglasses, which was stupid of me because then I looked around as I walked to campus again, and I was like, nobody else is wearing sunglasses around me except me, because it's not sunny, the clouds are out. Yeah, so I guess culture shock, don't wear sunglasses. So I figured out on my walk to campus, I passed by this Australian house every day, but this Australian house is actually the set for Gringotts in Harry Potter, like 7, where the dragon bursts out of Gringotts and is like, Maka! Maka! So yeah, I get to pass by that every day, which is kind of fun. Which we had a quick orientation event at the humanities campus. It was like an arts and humanities welcome. And then we kind of skipped the rest of the orientation events today because they were just kind of getting monotonous. And we went to Camden Market instead for lunch, which was super cool. Basically, it's a collection of like food stalls, shops of like some antique goods, so like cameras or like paintings and like weird wares, buttons, magnets, jewelry, but also they have like a lot of fake designer goods, so like Supreme bags and like Gucci belts and belt bags and like Chanel totes. So yeah, it's kind of weird assortment of things, but it's a really cool market and I really want to go back. But that day I had the vegan burger, which was delicious. It was like this beet quinoa burger, and I've never had a beet quinoa burger before, but it was honestly probably like top 3 burgers I've had in my life. Vegetarian burgers. The burger was warm. And then we went back to campus for the scavenger hunt, which was really cool because we went around. They took us basically to all these like London landmarks. It's really helpful gathering bearings around the city. So first we went to Borough Market and kind of went past Shakespeare's Globe, up through the Millennium Bridge, and then St. Paul's Cathedral, Somerset House, to which then we landed up at another pub social of the night. And it's kind of funny in that this bar social was at the Humanities campus. So every campus, it's a city campus here, every campus has its own bar. I don't know, it's just kind of funny to me. I would never, I mean, I guess you have like bars on campus back in the US colleges, but these are places like people gather to socialize after class and like casually grab a drink. But Thursday, we had our first free day, basically, like free time on our own to do whatever we want, no events whatsoever organized by the college. So instead, I met up with some friends I met earlier in the week, and we went to Tate Modern, which is a 12-minute walk from my flat. 12 minutes. That's godsend to have a museum of modern art so close to me. Makes me so happy. I think, yeah. Anyways, on my little walk there, I had a peanut butter protein bar. This was a perfect bar. This is probably my favorite flavor of perfect bar. It just tastes like peanut butter was molded and melted into a delicious little nugget. Anyways, the outside of the Tate Modern is pretty fugly, I'm not gonna lie. It's like not nice to look at, but it's right next to the Millennium Bridge. So I got there early and I like just looked around the Millennium Bridge and walked around a little. And little did I know that the Millennium Bridge is actually another site in Harry Potter. HP7, again, I believe when the Death Eaters are like wreaking havoc onto the city of London. You know what I mean? The Death Eaters have like awoken and they're wreaking havoc onto the city of London, which is fun. Yeah, and I'm still waiting for my friends. I kind of meandered into the gift shop, and I tell you, I love museums, but I also love the gift shops of museums as much as I love museums. I always like to treat myself to the gift shop and like browse around at all the wares. Anyways, walked into the gift shop, immediately saw this beautiful yayoi like pumpkin pillow, and I would, if I'm ever balling out in 30, 20 years, I will buy myself a $200 yayoi pumpkin pillow for my abode. You have my word for it. I just started like taking a lot of video of the gift shop, and then I think this woman kind of got sus of me and like came up to me and was like, "Hi, do you need any help?" And so like I was like, "No," and I like scurried out to go meet my friends at the exhibit, because it turns out I kind of lost track of time in the gift shop and then went to go meet them at the magical realism exhibit at first. And then we actually went into a different exhibit called On Digital Communication. And if you would just let me art ho for a moment, and I would love to share these like exhibits I saw with you, because I really like them, and maybe like you'll like them too. I don't know. Anyways, what I liked really a lot in particular was this one of a coin, right? So what the meaning behind it is that you see the world, but then also you kind of see a topographic map of Abraham Lincoln's face, which is on the penny. So I believe what the artist was trying to convey in this photo, or not photo, in this mixed media piece, was that how money kind of rules the world, or the dollar just has this kind of worldly power that lords over us, which I thought was like really cool, and like you wouldn't really normally see the Abraham Lincoln face at first, which is cool. Anyways, Peace Daily Life was Babel 2001, and this is basically a tower of radios. So as you move up from bottom to up, you go from older radios to more modern radios, and they're all blaring at once, like different stations, and so it's really incoherent what they're all trying to say. Incomprehensible sound is supposed to symbolize how we're overwhelmed by communication and how there's a lot of missed communication when so many things are talking at us in this like modern age, which I thought was really cool. It's a really cool experience to kind of sit there and just listen and see what you can pick out and what you can't pick out. Anyways, after that we went to a Jenny Holzer exhibit, which I didn't know, but she's famous kind of for the little slogans and mannerisms. Like one of them is an example is raise boys and girls the same way, which I honestly thought originated from a Brandy Melville t-shirt, which is not right. It's from Jenny Holzer, but I think one cool thing that not one cool thing, she has a lot of cool things, but one of her art, like one of her art pieces was this kind of like almost like fallen LED billboard of sorts that was just kind of looping around her different slogans, which is kind of cool. So it kind of looked like a broken advertisement of the sort. That was my interpretation of it. But enough of that art hoeing. I'm sorry if that bored you. After that, went to Borough Market, which is really close to Tate Modern as well. And it has like an assortment of like meats, cheeses, dairy, fruits, vegetables, seafood, like jams, and like an amazing selection of goods. A lot of produce, I would say. But I decided to be a little adventurous for my late lunch that day, and I ordered this Indian dosa, I believe they're called. It was like a lentil wrap with food inside. Oh, great, Alex. Food inside. Like, I think it was potatoes and more lentils and of sorts. I don't know. Anyways, the dude I was like ordering it from knew I was from California for whatever reason. He was like, "Are you from California?" And I was like, "Yes. Are you stalking me? How do you know that?" And then he was like, "Oh, I can tell by your accent," which bewilders me because I don't think I have that much of a Valley Girl accent or whatever you mean, but I guess one of my flatmates did tell me later in the week that my accent is a little more glitzy glammy. I don't know what that means, but you tell me. But yeah, after Borough Market, I kind of walked back home. We kind of parted ways from my friends, walked back home, and on that walk back home, for the first time, I kind of felt kind of anxious and lonely. Just kind of an odd feeling, I think. Just I was kind of pulled out from being with a lot of people into walking home alone. So it was just kind of a foreign feeling for the first time in the new city, I think. But anyways, I didn't let that make myself feel lonely. So instead, I reached out to a flatmate who I'd met the night before. I had honestly hadn't met any of my flatmates, but then I met this one girl, and she was super friendly, and like was like, "Yeah, let me know if you need anything." So I kind of just hit her up and was like, "Hey, like, what are you doing tonight?" And then we actually like went to the gym together. She got me to sign up for the gym right underneath my apartment, and then we went to Indian food at Dishoom. So I had a whole day of Indian food, I guess, that day. But Dishoom is just such a good Indian restaurant. So coming home that night after Dishoom, I realized I didn't really have any plans for Friday. So I ended up reaching out to a friend back at USC, I guess an acquaintance of sorts, because we have a lot of mutual friends, and we never actually like hung out before at USC. So I was like, just like messaged her, slid into her DMs, like, "Hey, like, I know we're both in London, like we should hang out if you're free like this weekend." And she was actually free Friday, so I was like, perfect. So on to Friday. I spent the day with Keonzi, who I had an inkling that we would like get along, but we went to South Kensington and we had brunch at Muriel. which then we went to the Victoria Albert Museum, the VA, which is by far my favorite museum since I've come here now. It just has such a large assortment of design, paintings, photography, but old historical artifacts and sculpture and metalworks. They literally have everything. They also have fashion, which is super cool. A bunch of creation of art pieces. But I really didn't take that much footage from that day just because I had a really great time with her, and it kind of felt for the first time since coming to London like I became fast friends with someone without having to really try hard. I mean, I think we just kind of hit it off, and it felt like very natural, like a very natural friendship, which was really exciting to finally have after a week of a lot of like forced events. We ended up spending like 3 to 4 hours in that museum just because we got lost in it because we were too cheap to pay £1 for the map. But afterwards we went to dinner where we had pasta, like great pasta. Actually, I think she had pasta, I had paella. Anyways, pasta, shared a bottle of wine, good talk again, and then that was kind of my Friday, and then kind of traveled back on the tube with a little bit of a blurry mindset after sharing that bottle of wine. But yeah, it was a really great Friday, and I really looked to cherish that Friday, and I'm glad I reached out to, you know, someone I didn't know, and kind of we both put ourselves out there and became really good friends, and we've been hanging out a lot since, which is kind of cool. But I had 0 plans for the next day, Saturday, which was, by that time I was very socially exhausted. I was like, wow, I spent the whole week around people, I want some me time. And so I decided I'd go out on this wild goose chase for a planner, like agenda book for this new year, 2019. So I wandered out of my apartment, was gonna go to this shop I found on Instagram called Present and Correct in Angel, but as I was walking kind of to the tube station, I wandered into a flea market, which was honestly so cool, like from 10 minutes from my apartment, from my flat, if I'm gonna use the right term now. It was like vintage antique market full of like old glasses and bottles and sunglasses, and for coats and hats, and like just so cool. I love just finding things while walking to another place, like happenstancely. Anyways, I stopped by, got some coffee for myself from Gentleman's Barista, which is honestly a vibe. Like, I love when the baristas of a shop fit the actual mood of the shop. Like, it's like a seamless design, a seamless atmosphere. Then I kind of went on the tube, tried to read on the tube, which Kianzi suggested that I do start doing, which is a really cool habit, I think, to make use of that time when you're kind of just sitting there on the tube. Anyways, I walked to the Present and Correct, sadly found nothing. Like disappointed, like, because all of their planners were sold out for that day. Like, who knew 2019 planners would be sold out 2 weeks into January? Anyways, I was kind of bummed because they had so many cute stuff, but like V overpriced. So I luckily there was another stationery shop nearby called Quill. So I went into there. They were also sold out. Oh my goodness. To which then I went to Paper Chase, which is your average consumer's stationery shop. I would much rather prefer to patronize an independent stationery shop, but a good thing I didn't find anything at Paper Chase, which means I didn't have to give them my money. And then I also went to the store called Flying Tiger, didn't find anything, went inside. Muji, they didn't really have anything that they had. I did pick up some like notebooks for class, like to take notes in for class that week, and a candle, I believe. So yeah, which then I took the bus to Covent Garden. So by now, which then I'm still on the hunt and determined to find myself a planner for the new year. I go to Covent Garden, I go to this place, oh my god, I forget what it's called, but I'll put the name right here, which was more of like a, not like a minimalistic, because I'm looking for like a very minimalistic planner. They didn't really have that. They had more of like decorated planners, I would say, like they definitely look more fancy planners. So then I was like, yeah, no, not here. Went to a place, I don't even remember what this place is called, I'll insert it here. It's more like cutesy, like Claire's kind of idea, and I was like not about that design either. Which finally I went to the London Graphic Centre and found myself a Lechiderm planner, which was not entirely what I'm looking for, but it was just like black, which is the great minimalistic vibe I want, and then has, I can show you now, kind of your week, and then this whole space for taking notes, which is, it's really cool. I kind of wanted a lot of note-taking space. The only thing it doesn't have, which is basically why I was being so freaking picky, is that it doesn't really have like a monthly spread of like a grid of the month. Whatever. Anyways, I ended up, last stop of the night, I went to Ryman, which is like their Office Depot here, and bought an embosser to emboss my name and the year onto the planner, just to give it a little personal touch since it is all black. But after that, I went back home finally. Oh my goodness, there was like a long day of me just running around the city by myself, which is, honestly, I love entertaining myself that way. That's how I entertain myself back in LA during breaks. I kind of just like go run errands and run around the city by myself. So it was nice to do that back in London and show myself like I can have fun alone, and like I love entertaining myself alone. I think growing up as like an only child a lot of my life, you really do learn how to find pleasure in alone time. Anyways, dinner, I didn't have a glamorous dinner. I had leftovers from Dishoom, that Indian restaurant. I think I had like broccoli and hummus as well. So, you know, study abroad is not glamorous 24/7. And yeah, that was basically my first Saturday in London. Looking back on that week now, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's been a month. I'm filming this a month out, but it was socially exhausting and tiring, but a really great week to look back into, kind of showing myself that kind of for the first time in my life being in a new city, which is really cool since I've lived in LA my whole life, and doing all these touristy things, but remembering also that I have like 5 months here, so I can always come back and do these touristy things. Like there's no rush to get through them all because I have so many weekends and so many days, so many breaks in between classes to visit all these museums, markets, like landmarks of sorts. So it was a really fun first week, albeit exhausting, and also ridden with a good amount of social anxiety. But yeah, all I can say is I had a great first week, and I hope you enjoyed my recap. I guess I'll close out this weird vlog, story time vlog here of sorts. But yeah, this is kind of new to me, all of this whole editing and talking to the camera and taking you with me type of thing. But I really wanted to do this for a while. I just haven't had the inspiration or chance or the time to kind of share my life via video, but I thought study abroad would be kind of the perfect opportunity for me to delve into this creative atmosphere, because I love like trying new things and stuff. So yeah, definitely would love to hear your feedback of like how you think this video went. Yeah, I really hope you enjoyed that. Right now I think I'm gonna meet a friend for lunch, so I will see you soon, hopefully in the next one.